going on, everybody? Welcome to an NBA All-Star edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Sunday's big NBA All-Star Game. One game that we are going to be covering for this one. Looking forward to this. If you haven't had a chance to play in the Pro Bowl game, which was a couple weeks ago, lots of edge that existed there. MLB All-Star Game, there has been lots of edge in that. If you know the little nuances to look for in some of these showdown slates, you have an opportunity to maybe make more than the regular run-of-the-mill showdown game. That's what we're going to try to help you guys do with the help of the DraftKings pricing that we have, which should carry over to FanDuel and our sponsor Yahoo, which do not have contests posted as of Thursday night here, but we want to bring you some content, and so we're going to do that. Ryan, how's your night going?
Yeah, interesting night. Jackson Hayes is taking the late swappers to the promised land. Kyle Kuzma isn't. That was a disappointing start from Kuzma, but things can change in a hurry. A huge late night hammer tonight in the late hours of the night between Houston and the Clippers. Lots and lots of offense should be happening on the Clippers side of things, and hopefully some garbage time for some Houston guys.
Yeah, and Luka is at 40 on FanDuel here in the first half, so that's a thing that happened. LaMelo Ball having a good game, but for the most part, that entire game, even Kyle Lowry is only basically 5x here, 6 minutes left to go. We'll see if anything changes there, but we're here to cover the All-Star Game. We're coming to you Thursday night. We haven't even gotten to lock here, as Ryan said, of that Clippers-Houston game, so don't know how that's going to pan out, but I know that we're going to have content for you all day on Sunday. We're going to be taking 2 days off here from the NBA streets, firing up the NBA strategy show. I'll be on that with Lofty Sunday morning here, unless Ryan wants to do that over there, because it's 7 a.m. my time. We could talk him and convince him to do such things. But regardless, we're going to have that for you. We're going to have the live before lock. I'll be on that with Terry. Looking forward to it, because there are small bits of edge in the NBA All-Star Game. And really, just like all of these slates, Ryan, it seems like it really comes down to figuring out who's going to play the most.
Yeah, and it's that's usually one indication there, but there are some guys who can just get there in very limited minutes in type of situation. Last year we saw Giannis in 19 minutes, I believe, won the MVP and in only 19 minutes. And there was guys who played 32 minutes on either team, guys like Kyrie and Luka Doncic each played 32 minutes on their teams. The minutes boxer is a little funky because of the Elam ending. It changes things up a little bit.
So why don't you explain that to the people who don't know what that is?
Yeah, so the Elam ending is it happens for the All-Star Game over the last couple of years now, and started in 2020. So the target score is typically like determined by a fixed number to the leading team's total after 3 quarters of action. So whichever team hits that first target score wins, regardless of how long it takes. So, but sometimes these guys, they've been doing 3 quarters of action. Sometimes it's with the minutes, some minutes left in the fourth quarter. So I need to make sure make sure they finalize the Elam ending. At one point, it was 24 to honor
Kobe Bryant.
So I wonder if they're going to continue to do that number. It would make sense because they redid the trophy and everything for Elam ending. So, yeah, the past 2 games, they've been doing 24. There's no running game clock in the fourth quarter. And they honor the number. They add on additional 24 points to the target score needed to win the game. So let's say Team Eric has 100 points, and Team Ryan has 90 points. Whoever out of my team or his team gets to 124 points first will win the game, regardless of how long it'll take. It could take an hour. It can take 10 minutes. We won't know.
And win by 2, right? Win by 2?
It might be win by 2. I think so.
I think it is.
So it might be win by 2. I forget it.
I feel like that was something that I remember kind of existing there. Regardless,
there are different ways to do the Elam ending. The guy who made it, I think Nick Elam, he said this is meant to eliminate overtime.
Right. And that's what we're trying to do here, because you don't want these guys to get hurt. It's an exhibition game, but it's an exhibition game that I think, because of the Elam ending, they've added a little bit of an element of competitiveness that hasn't always been there for the All-Star Game. It's a little less jamboree style, because you do get down into those clutch possessions. And especially that first 2020 157, 155. It really got heated towards the end of that game. Team LeBron, Team Giannis was really fun. Last year, a lot more lopsided. Team LeBron, 170, 150. We're going to go through some of those minutes, talk about it compared to what their salaries is. You're going to want to try to find a path to play the guys who are going to play the most minutes. But even so, Ryan did bring that up here. Last year, Giannis, 19 minutes, 35 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. Found his way to a massive output, even though Luka on his own team played 32 minutes, only put up 8, 8, and 3. Steph Curry played 22. Chris Paul played 31 minutes. He had 6 points, 16 assists, and 8 rebounds. That's the kind of thing we're looking. We're going to see some massive, massive stats from some of these guys in certain departments, but everybody in an all-star game is capable of being that guy. We just want to find the guys who are going to play more minutes more than anything else, right, Ryan?
That is correct. And sometimes you'll see the hometown guys get a little bit more minutes. I want to say in 2017, the All-Star game was held in New Orleans. They just let Anthony Davis ride the wave, I believe. He just played nonstop over there to lock up an All-Star game MVP. So here we have 2 Cleveland guys in Garland and Allen, and obviously LeBron James. So LeBron James is obviously returning back to Cleveland one more time. So it wouldn't shock me if all 3 of those guys play a ton of minutes for those respective narratives.
Well, let's start it this way because we have the pricing out, but I want to list off the starters because who are the guys who are the most likely, who are going to be the highest owned come Sunday? My guess, because again, we never talk about ownership. We can assume who's going to be highly owned, but Ryan and I do this show all the time and we don't talk about, exact specific ownership, but I'm going to ballpark this and something tells me, just like every year, starters are going to garner the most attention because they're assumed to be on the court the most. Team Durant starters, Joel Embiid, Ja Morant, who, again, coming off an injury, he did play the other night. He destroyed the slate on Wednesday. So I want to keep that in mind. Jason Tatum, Andrew Wiggins, and Trae Young. Who is your favorite starter to target on DraftKings from Kevin Durant's team?
Yeah, look at Kevin Durant's all-star team selection. Obviously, he's not there due to his injury. And I think it's always important to keep an eye on the first-time All-Stars. If they're starting, sometimes they get a little bit of more run. Not all the time. But honestly, looking at the starters for Kevin Durant's team, it's tough not to love Ja Morant. The guy's going to have the ball in his hand a lot. He's going to try to make sure to get his shots up. He seems like the All-Star game is kind of built for his game. So I don't mind going to Ja Morant. Trae Young, we've seen a couple of years now in the All-Star game. He's played all right in those years, nothing spectacular, as he was an All-Star in 2020, I believe. So we saw Trae Young then. He didn't play that many minutes in his first time at it. I think you got to have interest in Ja Morant. I think the All-Star game was built for his type of game, spectacular dunks, highlight reel plays over and over again. So, yeah, definitely like Ja Morant. Even at that price tag, price is kind of irrelevant at times. You just want to take your chances. I have no issues if you want to leave a bunch of money on the table. And looking at the Kevin Durant starters, the cheapest starter on their team is Andrew Wiggins. And it's tough for me to go to Wiggins in this type of game. I know he's a first-time starter, first-time All-Star selection as well. It just doesn't seem that type of a game environment for him to show out. He does have amazing hops and just put on a bunch of dunks. That could be planned for him at some point. But it's my favorite starter has got to be Ja Morant.
I think I'm with you. I think out of the starters, Ja Morant is there. I will say, first-time starter Andrew Wiggins. Not that he needs to prove anything, but I will say, who was the team that scorned him and did not want him to play there, and they traded their number 1 pick for Kevin Love? It was the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's going into Cleveland territory. And again, I don't really read into narratives. Ryan, Evan Fournier on Wednesdays, or, who's dating who, an ex-girlfriend revenge spot. But here's the thing. In the All-Star game, I'm willing to cling to some narratives. I might have a little bit more interest in a first-time starter, Andrew Wiggins, in the city that basically shut him down against the guy in LeBron James who said, I don't want you on my team as the number 1 pick out of Kansas. I think there's something that might exist there. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Yeah, I love it. I will play some Andrew Wiggins. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
In terms of being my favorite starter, tough to go there. He's definitely up there in terms of being pretty excited. So I definitely have no issues falling on some Andrew Wiggins. And he has shown upsides in games throughout the season. So we've seen a lot of times big men not get going as much. And looking at the front court big men for Kevin Durant's team, it's important to take a look at who's there along with Joel Embiid, right? So Joel Embiid is obviously the clear-cut starter, and he can put up a massive game. He had a massive game, I want to say, in 2019 is the year. I'm going off the top of my head. Embiid played pretty well. He had a double-double. And 2020, I think, he played in that AllStar game as well. Much more better 2020. He had 22 points and a double-double in that first Elam ending edition. And he's another guy. Obviously, he's been in the talks for MVP consideration. He might just want to man. He's their best player on the court, and the ball might just go through him. Easy dunks to start off that game. If people are going to be worried about Embiid just being like minutes rusted or something, we might get Embiid at lower ownership. And it just makes sense him being the starter to play a lot of minutes for Kevin Durant. And other big men on that team it's nothing that enticing. I know Rudy Gobert will be there and Karl Anthony Towns are there. Very rarely we'll see those guys share a bunch of minutes together. So I still like going to Embiid. I know him and Kat are teammates. As weird as that sounds, there's a chokehold once upon a time. Hopefully they've cleared that up. I think they have. But Embiid makes a lot of sense. And it just doesn't make me that interested in Karl Anthony Towns and Gobert. But keep in mind, there's still a half of this Philly-Milwaukee game. Embiid could tweak a knee or something, and that could change everything.
I think my favorite of the reserves, so we talked about some of the big men from Kevin Durant's team, and we're starting there. Then we'll head over to Team LeBron, where I think we have a lot of narratives swirling about what we should be doing with LeBron in Cleveland. He could play the most minutes out of everybody there. If you had to put money on an MVP straight up, you put it on LeBron James, I think. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but last year he just took a backseat, didn't play much. But I think in Cleveland, there's something about LeBron James in Cleveland that you got to buy into that narrative, right? I mean, I know he's 37, but it's LeBron James playing in front of it's his backyard. He literally owns that stadium if he wanted to.
Well, let's talk about my favorite target for contrarian. And again, this is Thursday night and a long time between now and Sunday. But if I had to pick one guy that isn't going to be John Morant from this team that's really made for an all-star game, it's got to be first-time all-starter appearance guy DeJounte Murray, making his replacement spot for Draymond Green, who's not going to play. He's been out here for Golden State for quite a while. But you talk about built for an all-star game. This guy does a little bit of everything on the floor. We've seen him with an outrageous fantasy point per minute rate in the absence of Derek White now in the last few games for the Spurs here. First all-star game appearance. You talk about them possibly getting some more run. Like LaMelo Ball also on his own team. They're phenomenal. I think LaMelo Ball will get a lot of attention just because he's kind of made for an all-star game as well. But DeJounte Murray has been incredible this entire season. You have him alongside Devin Booker, Zach LaVine, a lot of these guys, but Zach LaVine's been there before. He was the dunk contest darling. Obviously, him and Aaron Gordon with their legendary back and forth. You have a lot of guys who have had all-star game appearances here in the past. DeJounte Murray really sticks out for me. How do you view him compared to LaMelo Ball on Team Durant reserves?
DeJounte Murray versus LaMelo Ball. I gotta go with LaMelo Ball.
Yeah,
I gotta go with LaMelo Ball.
I'll go DeJounte just because I guess he is replacing him, so it's not like he was there automatically. Mm-hmm. Maybe they give a leg up to LaMelo because of that. Obviously, you're looking for any tidbit on Twitter that can cue you in on minutes, but DeJounte Murray, I really like for
DeJounte Murray, obviously, is better than LaMelo Ball. You can make an argument there, but LaMelo Ball has more fans that want to see him. There's a popularity contest to this situation.
Good point.
LaMelo Ball has the flair. He's going to have LeVar Ball in the stands. He's going to have LiAngelo Ball in the stands. He's going to have Lonzo in the stands. People are going to show out for LaMelo Ball, and people want LaMelo Ball to do his thing. And LaMelo Ball, I think in an interview, said he might pull up with interview with Dwayne Wade and Shaq, and Candace Parker said he might pull up a couple shots from midcourt and try to do his signature high school shot in Cheeto Hills where he pointed at the ground and he just shot from half court. And he might there is some rumors that he might try to reenact that in an all-star game. And if he's going to get the floor about that many three-point shots, you got to have some interest. But don't get me wrong, I like LaMelo Ball in this game environment a decent amount.
Jared Allen will send it back into his face if he tries to pull up from the Cleveland logo or for the center court logo, because probably won't be Cleveland Cavaliers here for this game. That's just an assumption, knowing how cool the courts generally look in this game. Anything else that you really want to discuss here from Team Durant before we jump over to the favored one, Team LeBron side?
Yeah, looking at the Team Durant side, obviously they would love to have Kevin Durant playing. It's missing a second straight All-Star game due to injury. Team Durant will be coached by, I believe, Eric Spoelstra is my question. Is my guess.
That's fair. Yeah, I think it's Spoelstra, and let me see the other one, and then LeBron's coaching, right?
Sorry, no.
Oh, it's not LeBron. Who's coaching for Team LeBron?
Monty Williams, right?
That's who it is. Thank you.
Eric Spoelstra will coach Team Durant. Is my situation. So there will be press conferences the day before. So keep an eye on if they say some guy's not going to play this many minutes. Eric Spoelstra's probably been here before.
Yeah. Spoelstra doing Team Durant going up against LeBron. Monty Williams, Team LeBron coach. Yes.
Yep. Another in DraftKings, especially targeting 3-point upside. I think just looking at the guys who can get there, Chris Middleton has a tendency to ball out in these All-Star games. He gets on fire at times, and it's happened a couple of times. It happened in 2019. He was the min that night, and no one really played him either. So Middleton, they will feed the guy who gets hot. And there's a guy in Devin Booker. He's not too far from Cleveland. He grew up in west side of Michigan. Book's going to have some family in the stands for sure, but Booker's another guy who can just get up 20, 25 shots potentially on this team. So there's some interesting bench value guys. And if for some reason we get Embiid is limited, you're going to have a lot of interest in either Gobert or Karl Anthony Towns as well. So mixing and matching the reserve guys, because one of those reserve guys is going to play north of 20 minutes and potentially could close. It wouldn't shock me if like Wiggins doesn't close and Booker's out there for just pure offense to get the ball going type of situation.
Love it, my friend. Let's keep it riding here. Well, before we do, we got to talk about our sponsor, Yahoo, because they're going to have NBA All-Star contests. They had them for the Pro Bowl. I'm assuming they're going to have them here for the NBA All-Star game as well. But regardless, when NBA comes back, or when you want to check out NHL or some of the great offerings they have for golf over there as well, you need to go over and sign up, deposit $10 or more, play in any paid contest, and boom, you are set up, you are ready to play, and get a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. To get everything we offer behind the paywall, there is a NASCAR Millie Maker this Sunday for Daytona. If you want to check out that and have all the projections and everything for that free month, take advantage of this Yahoo offer. It's just $10 playing in any of the paid contests, lowest rate in any other site across the industry. And you will be all set to go for that NASCAR Millionaire Maker to have the content for that. So check that out. There's also a great promo, Green Flag, if you want to have NASCAR content for the entire season for just $70. So check that out. That's promo code Green Flag. Go to awesemo.com/promos to be able to go check that out. But I'm telling you, this Yahoo one is going to be the thing you want to check out. So easy to do. You just deposit $10, play in any paid contest, and you're set. So stop guessing, start winning. Join us here at Awesemo, but do it through our sponsor, Yahoo. All right, my friend. Now is where it gets really fun here. And we're going to kind of dig into a little bit of salary expectation here, because the three most expensive players on Team LeBron are Giannis, Steph Curry, and LeBron James. They're the three most expensive players on DraftKings here listed. And I think that this is really well done by them, because Team LeBron is just stacked. You have not just them, but Joel Embiid is 9,200 on DraftKings. The next guy is Ja Morant at 8,200. We have Jokic, Luka, LeBron, Steph, Giannis, all of them more expensive on Team LeBron. It is a stacked team. We've got, for starters, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, who we know he's been on an absolute tear of late here, LeBron James, and Nikola Jokic. Amongst these five starters, who is your favorite one to captain on DraftKings come Sunday?
Getting LeBron James at home and in front of that crowd, I got to have interest in LeBron James as a captain.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, he's got to be my favorite captain. But if you're not going to LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo balls the blank out in All-Star games. He is turning into one of those legendary All-Star players in the All-Star game. And he definitely was on a mission last game. He going balls to the wall in these type of game environments. Last year and the year before, in 2020 and 2021, he was team captain in 2020. And He's in 2021 he got the MVP, but damn, he just didn't miss a shot from the field last year. 16 of 16 from the field. I bet all 16 were dunks. He made all 3 of his 3-point shots last year. 4 blocks. He did it all in limited minutes, man. Giannis is a great option. He could outscore the field by 10 or 15 points, but it's the narrative that has LeBron over Giannis for me this year. But I have no issues if you want to play Giannis over LeBron.
18-time All-Star. That is every year of LeBron's career. He's been an All-Star. 3-time All-Star Game MVP, 4-time Kia MVP. Pretty absurd numbers that exist around LeBron here for an All-Star Game. He's going back into Cleveland, a place that I'm sure he would love to be right now if he could be from an NBA perspective. I think that would probably be a little bit more advantageous than his LeBron. What?
LeBron James was not an All-Star his rookie year.
Oh, he was not. Oh, interesting. So. I also, so this is really historical, and I know people hate when I talk about myself. I really don't care. Carmelo Anthony should have won MVP their rookie years.
Rookie, there you go. Carmelo Anthony took the team to the playoffs. Yeah.
He was unbelievable, and LeBron James should never have won that. I actually had a bet with my, at the time, AP bio teacher, because that's what I was. I'm 34. He was literally my AP bio teacher. Mr. Eliason, that was his name. We had a bet before the season because he said Carmelo Anthony was going to be better than LeBron James. And I think I won that bet specifically, but we made the bet on who would win Rookie of the Year that year. He took Carmelo. He was like a Syracuse homer, and I definitely took LeBron, and I won, but I felt very, very guilty about it.
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony.
The small stories, Ryan. This is what we do, It's partial storytelling.
No, definitely. And
LeBron
James, 18 years in a row. It's pretty wild. He's definitely got a few more in him. Hopefully, we get to see that keep going. Yeah, LeBron James at home. If we get any word that if he's just going to let the young guys play, then I'll back away. LeBron James did that last year. So keep that in mind that he definitely did not go balls to the wall last year as the team was up pretty handedly heading into the Elam ending. Mm-hmm. So that's another reason why he probably just didn't want to get back on the court. But on the minutes there, he tends to have fun. He tends to put on a few nice show-stopping dunks. He'll probably do that in front of his old home crowd. I have no issues going to LeBron James as a captain. Luka hasn't played well in All-Star games, really, the last couple ones. He hasn't cracked double-digit points, I believe, in either game except
8-4-1 in 18 minutes in 2020. In 2021, he had 8-3 in 32 minutes. He was a real bust last year. Got the minutes.
And people who are probably looking at boxers we might get Luka at lower ownership, and Luka's been playing really well of late. Getting a low-owned starter is exciting, and Luka has the potential to be the highest-scoring player on the slate. We get some of the Luka magic in the All-Star game. Could be a dark horse for MVP, just because he probably just wants to have one good All-Star game under his belt, at least for the next 20 that are on his way. And this leaves former MVP Nikola Jokic, a former league MVP, reigning league MVP, kind of on an island. Bigs just don't really get a chance to show their fantasy production. There's a lack of rebounding there. It's a bunch of no like defensive upside. If Jokic wants to just be like, hey, I just want to get 20 assists, that's fine. And he doesn't seem that excited to just put on a bunch of dunks, or he doesn't even dunk the ball. So
it's NBA street is what it is. It's a lot of NBA street. And if you have that capability, or if you're Giannis, where it's just like you can do a little bit of everything, I'll pull up from 3 here. Oh, I can dunk on everybody and nobody's going to give me resistance. He can score 35 points in like 10 minutes. That's a thing that can happen for a guy like Giannis in this game. Plus, it's fun to watch him go nuts and dunk and do a bunch of crazy stuff. So we're going to see a lot of deep threes. We're going to see a lot of like ridiculous dunks and alley-oops and things like we always see. And a guy like Giannis is always fun to watch do that. I would say LeBron, if it's going to be between LeBron and Giannis and they're going to be equal rostership, I'm going to take LeBron because he's in Cleveland. But if we're going to be talking a difference because people want to just completely fire up LeBron at will, I'll take Giannis there in this spot. But we got to remember Steph Curry can get hot from 3 from time to time. That's a thing that can happen. DeMar DeRozan's been on a tear. Nikola Jokic, lots of guys we can look at there. But I want to jump to the reserves because I think this slate could really come down to how much you buy into this All-Star game being in Cleveland and 2 Cleveland reserves making their first appearances. Well, one ended up getting in truthfully. Darius Garland, who's been incredible for this basketball team in their resurgence here. No Colin Sexton. Now they pick up Karis LeVert, but Darius Garland making his first All-Star Game appearance, and Jarrett Allen, first All-Star Game appearance for him, replacing James Harden here in the lineups. They are two of the three cheapest guys. Now, you talked about bigs. Rudy Gobert is down there from Kevin Durant's team. Now, Darius Garland is $3,800. Jarrett Allen is $3K. They're the two cheapest guys from Team LeBron, and if they see a surplus of minutes, I feel like people are going to be rostering them quite a bit just because it's in Cleveland, and just like in MLB, you would expect, maybe an extra at bat or two in that kind of a spot for a hometown guy. Do you expect any extra run from those two guys as of Thursday night?
You got to hope so. You at least got to see at least maybe they get up to high teens of minutes, and they're very cheap. Garland and Allen and Van Vliet are all first-time All-Stars for the LeBron James team. And Allen in a short period of time can get a backdoor double-double. We saw Andre Drummond do that in 2019. I think he put up a 10-10 performance in very limited minutes. Just to identify, Drummond was not a starter that year. And I want to say Drummond played, how many minutes did he play for that team? That's a stall time, but Drummond did pull up a backdoor 2020. It's not 2020, 10-10 game in 2019, I'm pretty sure. So I have no issues if you go to a guy like Jarrett Allen at that cheap price tag. It makes a lot of sense to fall on him. Another guy, Darius Garland, obviously is going to chuck when he's on the court. The crowd probably wants him to get a few buckets under him. He's 3,800. He doesn't need to do much in this All-Star setting. Because being the salary savings, you can just jam in an extra stud. And an extra stud in an All-Star game goes a long way. And one thing to keep an eye on, I know Chris Paul hurt his wrist as he got ejected last game. I think he'll play. But, man, if you look at Chris Paul's box score in All-Star games, they are through the roof. This guy goes ham in All-Star games himself. He is someone, if you're given the minutes, he just finds a way to produce at an elite clip. It turns into he balls out at All-Star games. He just has a ton of fun doing so.
All right. That's a pretty good call there as well. I'm looking through the rest of this roster. Luka Doncic obviously is a guy from the reserves perspective that just stands out. Jimmy Butler is somebody that I don't really know what I want to do with yet. That's going to kind of be an iffy situation. Obviously, he has to put a team on his back here in Miami, and a lot of times. And what?
No, it's the Heat and Hornets game is 90-89 into overtime. Yeah, 90-89 might be the score midway through the second quarter in this All-Star game.
That's a great point. Yeah, they started overtime there, and still really nobody is getting there. LaMelo Ball 43 on FanDuel, 8,800. He's the highest scorer by quite a ways here. I just hope Bam Adebayo truthers don't get there at 9,500 over there. That would be very, very sad. Of course, be on the lookout. We'll have a ton of content. FanDuel, Yahoo will be able to cover them here, but let's round out this Team LeBron here and talk a couple of our hot takes that we might have here. Pick your MVP in order. Let's do this. Let's order three players that we want as building blocks of our lineups that we feel are the most likely MVP candidates starting at number 3.
Starting with MVP?
Because I'm assuming we're both taking LeBron number 1, the most likely MVP candidate.
Yeah, LeBron James is one. Should we build a lineup as we do this?
Let's do that. I would absolutely love this. So we're going to talk through it. We have the most expensive guy here. I'm going to start in the utility. So we're going to have 6 players here. I'm happy to fire it up. I can't do the share thing. I'll learn how to do this while we're doing it live. People might not know I'm producing this and firing it up.
We think LeBron James is going to win MVP. Don't we want him at captain?
Yeah, we'll start with that. We're going to build our cash game NBA All-Star.
Right, I'll get one, you get 2, and then we'll do...
Let's do it. Actually, you know what? I want you to go first. I care more about what you think. I want 4. You're going to pick 3 of them. I'm going to pick 2. We plugged in LeBron James at MVP. That gives us 7,180 per player here. You can kind of do whatever you want if you play 1 or maybe 2 cheapies here, which shouldn't be that hard considering it's an all-star game. So first pick goes to you here, Ryan.
Yeah, LeBron James, if I can get that narrative at that captain spot, I'm about it.
So that's what we're doing. We plugged him in there. I was going to give you the first in the utility because I thought that was kind of a guy that we both wanted here. I'm going to click on my guy, DeJounte Murray, 6,800, kind of a mid-level play here on DraftKings.com, somebody that I want to get to quite a bit here in this game, similar to John Morant, who I expect to maybe be a little bit more popular. We'll see where it comes in at, but first-time All-Star appearance, I think that can be a plus. Give me your play at the utility here next.
So you went DeJounte Murray, right?
I did.
I will now. So we got LeBron on one side and a KD player. I will go. I'll go Joel Embiid. I want to jam in another stud in Joel Embiid.
Two guys from team Kevin Durant, too. Obviously, I think LBJ is the one that's really, really stacked here. But hard not to click on LaMelo Ball, 6,400 as well. You had talked about that. So now we have three guys. And I'm happy to fire up whatever variation of, like, I really don't care about 5-1 or 4-2 or 3-3 in this iteration. I literally am giving it legitimately zero mind, and I'm hoping other people do. This is not like a Pro Bowl where a defensive touchdown could actually result in this. This is just who can be on the floor the most. LeBron James, DeJounte Murray, Joel Embiid, LaMelo Ball. Give me two more. We've got $67.50 per player. Go really expensive or really cheap, whatever you desire.
Two more, right?
Two more.
I want to do John Morant, $8,200 John Morant at the utility spot.
I love that. So he played that 5,300 left per player. I'm going to click on our guy, Chris Middleton. You talked about it. He loves these all-star games, can get really, really hot from three. So can just about, 90% of these guys, it feels like. There's a lot of pretty good basketball players. That's why they call it an all-star game. Makes sense. But Chris Middleton leaves some money on the table, $700. I think that's a very viable thing to do in an all-star game. It's pretty viable to do all the time in Showdown, but avoid some duplication. I love that lineup here. So that is LeBron at the captain, DeJounte Murray, Embiid, Ball, Morant, Middleton. Very useful over on DraftKings.com, but don't forget, FanDuel going to have a different salary structure, as will Yahoo. I'm assuming they will give you consideration for salary. If it's a pick'em, obviously, just target the guys who play the most minutes. But otherwise, we want to try to find some points of deviation. Check out the ownership projections. You can get all of that by depositing $10, playing in any paid Yahoo contest as a new user there, and getting that free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. But Ryan, any final words for the people?
Enjoy the All-Star break. Have fun. And we did a nice little preview to talk about this game. It's been a fun first half being a little generous. It's more like 70% of the season is done. But we'll be back next Thursday. There's going to be some massive contests the first day back. Enjoy your All-Star break and stay safe, everyone, and have fun.
He's Ryan. He's mad at Kyle Kuzma. I'm Eric. I'm madder. We'll see you guys later.